Oh, this poor bastard has no idea I'm here. Just show me where you're at, buddy.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
How am I alive? How am I alive? Oh my god.
Zombie apocalypse.
And we're back. On Vikendi, of course, because PUBG apparently will not let me play any other map when I decide to play solos, but I can't complain that much. Vikendi has been a lot of fun recently, and I've been getting to play more of the map and seeing more cool areas of the map, and I haven't really done that before. So I'm going to land here, and I'm going to get very lucky. I find everything that I need, find myself a G36, a level 1 vest, find a helm, and I'm doing a little warm-up technique that I like to do. This is my first game of the day, and what I like to do is when I hear gunshots, like those right there coming from the northwest, I immediately run toward them. And that's going to be my warm-up. I'm just going to go run toward them. I'm going to use a technique I like to call tempered aggression, which means that I get myself into a position where I know where they are, and I can take the fight. I don't do crazy things. I'm not going to go running up staircases when people are camping the stairs and they have a choke point. But I'm going to create situations where I can at least get into a fair gunfight, or ideally, I'm going to be in a situation where I have the advantage and they don't know I'm there. Now, I'm pretty sure that those gunshots came from this complex. They sounded very close, but I wasn't sure. So I'm taking my time, rolling around in here. I'm always trying to be listening, and it's very difficult to do that if you're at a full sprint. So I try to be crouched or walking at a walking speed the vast majority of the time. That's when I can pick up audio cues the best. So I'm kind of just grabbing what I can here and scanning, and lo and behold, I hear somebody moving around in this house right here. Their movement gives me a real good indication of where they are. I hear them in the snow. I hear them open the door, go inside, and that's their fatal mistake, unfortunately, for them. Great for me. See you, buddy. I find that taking these fights and getting a kill or getting into a good gunfight early in the game, it really sets the tone for a successful game for me, in most cases. Whether that means that I go on to win, or whether it means that I go on to get in more fights and at least win a couple of them. I have a real hard time in games where I run around, can't find anybody, or don't get in any fights, or I'm trying to play stealthy, and I don't get into those early fights and get warmed up in the actual game itself. I will often find myself at the end of the game having to take a fight and then really potatoing my shots. So I love playing like this. I love taking those early fights. Let me know if you guys are the same. I'm very interested to see if you guys like to take those early fights for the same reasons, or if you intentionally wait to get looted up and you don't really feel that, oh god, what do we call it? The yips or gun rustiness. Let me know if you guys feel that, because I always play better when I get in fights early in the game. So catching us up here, I was hunting those people that were back in Cosmodrome. I know that there were other people that landed there, but they were being really quiet, and as I was hunting and looting there, I heard some shots coming from this side. So I headed out of Cosmodrome, heading right back over to where I heard these gunshots. And then, like a 5-year-old, I see, or I hear rather, a plane, and I'm thinking, man, if this drops, I'm going for it. And sure enough, there it is, and that's a shiny object, and that pulls all of my attention away from the gunshots, and I'm headed right to the box. Now, on my way to the box, I am acutely aware of the fact that there are at least 2 people to my west. I heard those gunshots. I did think that I saw somebody die, so, you know, there might just be a guy there, but I'm constantly looking over there, looking for any sort of movement. I'm very aware that I'm moving into danger here by doing this. And as I approach the box, at the very last second, I hear a little bit of movement up to my right. There's 2 things I can do here. Number 1, I can turn and just immediately try to burn this guy down. Cover be damned. Just get in this gunfight, even though he has the advantage and he has the cover of the high ground. Or, number 2, I can take the chance that he thinks I don't see him, and I can keep moving into my position of cover where he may take the opportunity to try to use a throwable and open himself up to some free shots from me. What do you do in this situation? I bet you can guess what I do. Oh, Dodge a little fire, and back to my shiny object. Truth be told, there's really probably not a right answer there. Sometimes you turn and you take the fight immediately and you win it. Sometimes you lose it. Sometimes you get the cover and, the guy just sits there and waits for you to peek your head or he comes around on you. It's just instinctual at that point. And I just had a feeling with how close I was to the box, knowing exactly where he was from those footsteps, that was the play to make in that moment. And it worked out really well. The guy didn't make a terrible play, threw a pretty good molly, and the timing was really good for me to peek out from the box and take him down. So we're just going to gloss over the fact that I left that Mark 14 in the box, and we're just going to move on to this point. I have a Car 98, folks. I'm feeling good about it, right? Wanted to keep that for now. So I came right up the hill here and immediately heard some footsteps in this house. Made my way around. Got a good look at this guy. I knew I heard him bad. Heard him go in the door. I know that he's hiding in the bathroom, probably trying to get a heal off, so I'm going to go in and Rambo him. He saw me do a little bit of a pre-fire there on the door, just in case he tried to feign that he was weak, and in fact he was third person aiming the door. I like to do that just in case, because some people will do that. I do that myself. If somebody thinks they have the advantage on me, I always want to be a step ahead of them. So after that encounter, I actually cut out quite a bit of the game here because it was me running around and chasing cars and missing snipes on cars that were 200 meters away and just having a good time, really running around trying to hunt people down. And I end up getting to this position back at Cosmodrome, seeing that drop and thinking to myself, yeah, I'm going to go get that drop. Just until I hear a car that's rolling up here, coming in from the west-northwest. It's at that point that I decide, okay, the car is closer, I'm going to go take this fight over here. And it's what almost cost me the game. So I hear this car pull up to this compound, and I'm looking around. I can't quite figure out where he actually parked the car, but I know he's somewhere. I'm rolling up here just trying to get eyes on the vehicle. That'll give me some indication of which building he's gone in and which vantage point he may have in those buildings. It's at this point that I made a grave mistake in thinking that he did not know I was around his building. And it turns out he is keenly aware of my presence, and I honestly do not know how I'm alive at this point. That was the perfect nade, perfectly cooked, exploded right over my head and behind me, and he took 100% of my health. I do not know how I survived that. Now, this guy must have known that grenade hurt me if he knew my position and knew where the grenade exploded, but he couldn't have known how badly it hurt me. That if there was a light breeze, I would be dead. Otherwise, he would have pushed me or thrown more grenades if he had them. But the guy just decides to play passively, and it gives me an opportunity to get off my bandages and back out of that fight a little bit. Catch my breath, because that is a WTF moment for me. Absolutely. Now, after patrolling the area and trying to find an angle to where I could find this guy, I had no luck. It wasn't until he got back in his vehicle in order to move to zone that I saw him and had an opportunity to take a couple shots. I went ahead and killed his friend, that tree right there. He was definitely a threat to me. Miss a couple Car 98 shots, move back to the tree, take a few more shots at him, and this is not the end of our encounter. Okay, this guy definitely wants to fight. He's moving into zone, and we will fight again. But in the meantime, I've got some fresh victims moving up here. This guy's going to go by in the car. I'm going to potato quite a bit. And for some reason, he is going to choose to stop his vehicle and get out, and that is his death sentence. Boom. Didn't miss that Car 98 shot. That poor guy. Whew. Sometimes in this game, you make split-second decisions, and on your way back to the lobby, you're thinking to yourself, what in the world was I doing there? And my guess is that probably went through his head right after my bullet did. No sooner do I move 15 feet to the south than our friend who almost killed me with the grenade is peeking up over the ridge. He is aware of my position again, and I'm trying to give him some different looks here. Look at what a good job this guy does of taking shots when he has them and then switching positions. People like this are a nightmare to fight. Okay, he is giving me very, very little in the way of my offensive ability, and he is doing a great job of putting shots down range on me. So I'm going to do the same thing. I want to switch up positions. He's moving closer to Cosmodrome. I'm going to do the same, and we're going to have a little bit of a standoff here in this cool little missile area, which I've never even played in before. It really makes for an awesome showdown, and I thought we were going to have an epic sniper fight here. The guy seemed like he liked to peek and he liked to take sniper shots, so I was very much looking forward to it. Now, what actually ended up happening was a totally different story. So this guy, instead of deciding to snipe with me, he pushed up on the right side. You can see him right there. He figured out where I was, and he took the only cover that he really had access to. And I decided to use some throwables, try to get some damage on this guy. Now, there's this cool little snow defilade here, which allowed me to actually switch my position and get into a parallel position with him so that I could move around, and I was actually in a pretty dominant position here. The guy couldn't back up, he couldn't really go anywhere. I held him in with fire. He did what he could, he got some looks, but man, did he have a rough spot to fight from here. I think that at some point he must have not figured out where I was at, or he didn't know the map, or a combination thereof. This again speaks to how important it is to know the area that you're playing on and what an advantage you have if you do know the area. So I bounced a flash grenade underneath that thing. I don't know if I flashed him very well when I threw that, because he ended up putting some shots on me, but as a result of the cumulative damage I was able to do, I was able to put him down pretty easily. I ended up sending him a message saying, hey man, if you threw that grenade that almost killed me, it was amazing and we had a good fight, etc., etc., but the guy never messaged me back. But heck of a fight there. Made for a really, really fun end to this game. And then all of a sudden I look up and there's 4 alive. And I realize that I am in a pretty prime position here. I've cleared out one of the only enemies in the area that I was aware of, and now it's just time for me to patrol, see where the circle goes, make sure that nobody gets close to me. Just as I turn around, I hear something behind me, get that spider sense tingling, and sure enough, there's a guy crossing in the open, so I wait for him to turn toward me as he's moving straight north-south, and I potato a few shots, but I'm lucky enough to take him down as he's moving toward me. So, that leaves us with 2 other enemies that I have to deal with. And luckily for me, this guy shows me exactly where he is. He has a ghillie suit on and goes prone at a perfectly opportune time there, but he must think that that ghillie suit makes him invisible, but it just makes him hard to see, and I'm able to put a couple of good shots on him because he's out in the middle of nowhere with no cover, trying to take shots at a guy that's next to a wall. So, unfortunately, a little bit of a bad play there, and that guy goes down. Now we have the 1v1, and as I'm scanning, I see just the tip of the guy's gun at this spot over here directly to the southeast. And I'm not sure if he knows where I am. He may have seen me just engage that guy in the gunfight, but he would have had to see me early. So I'm thinking that I have the advantage here because I know where he is. He does not know where I am. Secondly, I have the zone, and as this zone moves in, it appears to me that that guy is going to have to move, at least move across that open gap between the 2 little square buildings there. So I think that, this is an opportunity for me. If he doesn't know where I am, I can use a little bit of deception here and get him looking the wrong way, or at least lure him into a false sense of security. So that's my current plan. I'm going to go ahead and boost up, and then I'm going to move to the other side and create a distraction using one of the only throwables that I have left, and that is, of course, my smoke grenade. Now, who knows if the deception worked, if that created a situation where he felt more comfortable crossing. He didn't really have a choice. The blue was pushing ever so slowly, and that building was not in, so he had to pick his time, and I knew that I had 1 shot to hit him and damage him. As he crosses, I take my shot, do some damage, and credit to him, he takes the gunfight instead of staying back there and healing, because he knows that I may have grenades that I'll just throw back there and kill him. So he knew that he had to kind of pressure that fight. And props to him for taking that gunfight. He put some damage on me. I did a lot more potatoing, but I was fortunate enough to come out on top. And man, have I been having a lot of fun with these solos. I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think. As always, I look forward to seeing you guys for the next one.